French mastiff.
He is thoroughly elegant, Pete. My Annabelle is a Briand, which is a French sheepdog. Perhaps we can arrange an introduction.
Does she understand English?
Oh, petit. Oh, does he understand French?
I wouldn't know. I certainly don't.
Foster, asseyez-vous.
Dad, did you see that? He's bilingual.
Sure he is, son. Lila, tea? Whiskey?
Yes, please. So, Lucky, how are you spending your first long summer in Port Charles?
I'm starting my own business.
Is that so?
Yes, sir. Me and my cousin Sly.
They make a hell of a team. Tell Mr. and Mrs. Quartermain about it.
We're worm farming.
I beg your pardon?
Mother Nature's own garbage disposal.
I'm afraid you've lost me.
Oh, I've heard about this. Very good for the environment.
Yeah, see, what me and Sly do is we build a bin in your basement, and we fill it with shredded newspaper and worms. And then you guys put your garbage in that, and the worms eat it and turn it into compost, which you put in your flower garden or your vegetable, whichever you prefer, ma'am.
Well, I've heard of baby moguls. This is ridiculous.
I figure it'll keep us off of the streets.
Oh, wonderful. When you two are up and going, give me a call. I'd be delighted to entertain a sales pitch for two such enterprising young men.
Lucky, honey, it's not nice to hustle the gas.
Well, not at all. We're always interested in a sound business proposal. Oh.
You better be careful with these guys. If they smell a profit, you got a leveraged buyout on your hands.
Garbage-eating worms is not the profits I'm worried about smelling.
Does everyone know Justice Ward?
Of course.
I haven't had the pleasure.
Oh, of course. Justice Ward, this is Mrs. Quartermain.
Mrs. Quartermain, it's a pleasure.
Thank you.
Hey, Lee Baldwin.
Yes, I remember. Good to see you again.
See you.
Mr. Boland.
Justice? Justice?
Mr. Quartermain.
You're quite a public speaker, Ward.
And he claims to play a little poker.
Well, I say that we put him to the test. I'll see you and raise you 10.
Sounds good to me. I'm in.
I'm in, and another 5.
Too much for me, I'll fold.
So I'm out.
I rubbed Foster's nose for luck, and I believe it's working.
And I'll see you and another 5.
Oh, I'm out.
Too rich for my blood.
And 5 again.
This is fun. Another 5.
That's a chunk of change for a young fellow like yourself. I'll take that 5 and raise you another 10.
Well, I'll tell you what. I promise not to lose the 40 acres. Just the mule.
Well, you can always use a good mule.
I call.
Ace is over.
Full boat. Jackson.
Beautiful. What a hand. I did better this time. If you don't mind my asking, Ward, has Police Commissioner Donnelly officially reopened the investigation into your father's death?
Oh, yes, indeed. As a matter of fact, we had a long chat with him the other day, my grandmother and I.
I can't imagine where he'd start after all these years.
The usual. Who were his friends, who were his enemies.
If I may point out that some people at this very table will probably fall into one of those categories.
No kidding. Small world.
And I have a very clear image of your father. Almost like it was yesterday. Leading a picket line on the site of the new airport.
What was his beef?
Discrimination in hiring by the contracting unions. Is that right, Lee? What a memory. I believe it was eventually settled to everyone's satisfaction, even my clients.
Well, picket line will tend to do that sometimes.
And also tend to cost you the shutdowns and layoffs and a whole mess of lost jobs, too. Hey, can we play cards?
May we play cards, please?
Do you think Sean will be able to keep the investigation active?
Well, I don't intend to give him much choice.
How will you keep pressure on the police department?
Well, a little help from the local press and television.
Well, tragic as it may have been, son, I wouldn't expect to sustain a whole lot of interest on a case that's, what, 20 years old? Not very much evidence, even back then.
The man's an optimist, Jack. Don't rain on his parade.
Four deuces?
Well done, Mrs. Quartermain.
How'd you have?
But I'm still an optimist.
Anyone ready for coffee and pie?
Yeah.
Great, man.
Any more money?
Oh, yeah.
Small portion for me.
Small portion, right?
Are you getting a feel for the room? In spades. Jack Bowles, of all of them, is the wild card in this deck.